right, here we go. We're getting ready to get started. Who's excited for today? Hello. Hey, it's Rob over at swimforrecovery.com, which, as you probably know, is not all that I do, but that is what we're doing this month, being specific. So here's my new friend. Here's the new addition to our family. Here's Sam. Everybody say, hi, Sam. Everybody type in the chat, hi, Sam. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hope you're loving this. Bye. Gotta go. Now he's just going to probably go over there and whimper a little bit. But here we are on day 9 of Swim for Recovery. 594 laps swum so far, and it's been a great month. Meeting people in the pool, talking to them about what I'm doing. Actually going to get a banner, a little thing made at the end of my lane that says swimforrecovery.com. So please, if you... Not everyone's on social media, so please grab that domain name, text it out to your friends, and let them know kind of what's up in Swim for Recovery Month. And, it's also like National Suicide Awareness Month, and I received this email today from one of the treatment centers. I'm on their kind of list, right? So I wanted to read this to you. It talks about like Suicide Prevention Month, and it says this, that a national poll conducted in 2020 found that while 95% of Americans surveyed would do something if someone close to them was thinking about suicide, almost 70% of the respondents identified barriers that keep them from discussing suicide with others. And then also talks about the new National Suicide Prevention Line. If you're aware of that, texting 988. So 988 is a no-cost confidential support for people. And you text 988 and someone will reach out to you if you're struggling with suicide. And a lot of people with addictions do. Because in our addictions, we're not pleased, not pleased with where we are in our life, but yet don't know how to get out of it. And that was my situation for sure. So anyway, we're 594 laps into the 1,980 laps. Thank you for all that have donated to the cause, and just trying to, again, spend time to create awareness, share recovery stories, and all of the recovery stories, so are going to be posted on swimforrecovery.com. So we've done 8 stories so far. I'm going to share a little bit about my story today, and then we have tons more guests coming throughout the month. And again, if you're interested in sharing your story as part of one of the recovery stories, please do. I actually just was interviewed on this young lady's podcast yesterday, and she had a gaming addiction that got so bad that she would spend 22 to almost 24 hours a day in a room in her house gaming. She wouldn't come out. She just was locked in her room gaming all day long. And I feel like a lot of people think that gaming is more of a addiction that men or young boys have, but it affects everything, just like every other addiction. It affects everything, because the thing about addiction is it does not discriminate. So so that's the deal there. I'm actually going to edit this for today. We got 9 miles in, 594 lengths in, and how many football fields is that? I don't know why I'm stuck on football fields, but I think it's pretty cool because it's such a good visual to look at. 17.6 times 9, 158.4. All right, 158.4. There we go. So we're going to save that. So this is what I've done so far is 9 miles. Well, I say we. I'm going to say we because there's a lot of people that have donated. Kind of when I was a kid and I swam, we would do these swimathons to raise money for the organization and all the efforts and outreach and things that they did, and swim meets and all that kind of stuff. So people would donate like 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever it is per mile. And several people have jumped on board at swimforrecovery.com. There's a link on there. And all the money, again, is going to go to help people that are struggling and really want to change their life. Not just kind of looking for a place to live, but really want to change their life. So to help them out with some sober living scholarships to some places that I know, really well, and would love to help people get a good start in one of those homes, but also people that need like counseling or therapy needs that can't afford it. And also to support, Lifted from the Rut programs and podcasts and online summits and everything, and just to help people and continue to spread the message. So that's it for now. Definitely say hi and let me know kind of where you're coming in from today. But I want to take this opportunity to share a little bit about my story for some of you that don't know. A lot of people that tap in and follow and make comments and join the summits and challenges I do, know a lot of it, but maybe you don't. And so if you do know it, hey, stick around. Would love for you to make some comments and just support me in that as well. So for me, we talk about, okay, I'm asking everyone the question of what's your sobriety date? So my freedom from substance date is June 8th, 2001. And a short while after that, I stopped tobacco and dipping tobacco, and I've never smoked a sober cigarette, but stopped dipping tobacco. And then three plus years ago is when it was just gambling and casinos and all that kind of stuff just needed to go away. So thanks to going through Celebrate Recovery, I was able to break free from gambling. So I guess I have a few recovery dates, which some of us do, right? We get sober or we change our life, and then we find out there's other stuff to work on, and we want to get free from that. And so really it's applying the same principles and tools of the initial program I went through to break free from the other stuff. So that's my sobriety date. The other question is, what's your drug of choice? Mine was mainly alcohol, although I liked smoking pot and doing acid and mushrooms, and that was something I enjoyed. So it's kind of like whatever you had, I enjoyed. And right now I'm living in Littleton, Colorado, just outside of Denver. So those are the three initial questions I ask everyone I interview. And so now I'm interviewing myself. So, hey, Rob, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in a Christian home in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we went to church on Sundays and did Bible studies. And my cousins all lived in the neighborhood, and my grandparents, my dad's parents, did not live too far away. So I was on the swim team. I swam for Cefi, Southeast Family Y, which actually I was actually going to look that up today to see is Cefi still around, because that's actually cool. And if you go to swimforrecovery.com, I'm just a little boy wearing my Cefi jacket, standing next to my grandpa, who was a guy I really wanted to be more like. So is Cefi still around? So um, I don't know. We're going to go find that out in here in a little bit. So just grew up to all the good Midwest values, right? And then we moved to Texas when I was in fourth grade. And I think in a previous episode or something, I said fifth grade, but it's fourth grade. And I don't know, Texas was just different. And I feel like things shifted for me in Texas. Like I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't know anybody. My entire family was back in Indiana. And here we are in this place of Fort Worth, Texas, where all these people talked weird. Said, yeah, what are y'all doing over there? And I just never really felt like I fit in. I mean, went to church camps and church retreats and all those kind of things, but again, just feeling kind of different than other people. And I started drinking at 14. I mean, I got my first drunk was at 14 years old, and I don't know, drunk. My first good buzz, was at 14 years old. And to me, alcohol just looked like it was something that people did and had fun with. I had no clue we had alcoholics on both sides of my family and that people struggled. And I had no clue that people were like in recovery or anything like that in my family. So I feel like it's really important to talk to family about those things, just to kind of let you know kind of from where you come, but that doesn't identify where you're going. I hear people a lot of times say, well, my uncle was an alcoholic, my grandfather was an alcoholic, my dad's an alcoholic, and so I guess I'm destined to be an alcoholic and my kids are going to be alcoholics. I'm like, no, stop the cycle now. But back then I was just a kid, didn't know. My dad is not an alcoholic. My mom is not an alcoholic. Um, so my immediate like brother, mom, dad, and brother, mom, and dad, yeah, it was all of us and our dogs. Nobody was, alcoholics. But I became one. And all the way through high school, it was just I was wild. I was party guy. I was drinking and driving and just getting arrested here and there and spending overnights in jail. but I always got out of it, along with my friends. They always got out of it. But I started really kind of not knowing who I was when I went to college. And went to college, and I swore I would never do drugs. I'm only going to drink. But then I remember smoking pot once, and it felt good. And then I was like, okay. And then I remembered, okay, I'm gonna try some acid and some mushrooms. But I had these limits. I said I would never try like cocaine, or I'd never smoke crack, or I didn't even know people injected stuff back then. But I was just your hardcore fraternity guy, partied like crazy, and got in trouble. I remember I got arrested in college and had to go to AA. So figured out a system how to get around that, but always was trying to figure out how to get around the system. Whenever I'd get in trouble, I'd figure out how to get out of it. And that was the plight that I was in. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm doing this Swim for Recovery campaign is because, as I've mentioned many times in every episode so far, is that I was a pretty good swimmer in high school, but we would go, my buddies and I, we would go drink at lunch during the day, and then sometimes drink on the way to swimming, which then became drink a lot on the days I had swimming. And after making the state swim meet, and I was an alternate on the medley relay. Mark D beat me out by like barely anything, and he swam, and I just remember after that, I had to make this decision. Like, I loved swimming; it's been something I've done my whole life, but I had to make the decision to quit swimming or quit drinking, and I chose to quit swimming. And one of the things I say a lot in my life now is, if you take potential and you take addiction, put it in the same room, addiction beats potential almost every time, because we're not living up to our full potential. And that was my life of addiction. And college, I mean, college was just wild and insane. And then I graduated college. Somehow I graduated in 4 years with a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts in biology, because I wanted to become a doctor. But again, we had addiction and we had potential, and addiction beat potential every time. So I did not become a doctor, and moved out to Vail, Colorado to just kind of find myself. And my parents invested a lot of money for me to go to college and get a good degree. But I just kind of, I don't know, poo-pooed that away. And I felt bad about that for years afterwards, because I didn't take advantage of the great opportunity they gave me. So moved to Vail, became a drunk, started smoking pot again. I mean, drinking, smoking, blackouts, all the craziness that went with that. And then eventually, needed to become a big boy and got a job in banking, in real estate, but alcohol was always there. I got married in my addiction to an alcoholic, and just we both drank alcoholically, and just different ways. And that was just not it just what it wasn't a neither of us were fulfilled in that at all. And so ended up getting divorced. And then shortly after that, as I was kind of on a wild run, I just started dealing a lot with suicide ideation. I would see myself as I was driving down the highway. I would see myself veer off the highway, hit a median, and I'd see my car explode, and I'd see myself dead on the side of the highway. And it was just awful. But I didn't know how to tell somebody, because if I told somebody I was suicidal, kind of like I just read in the beginning of this, if there were a text number I could have texted 988 to try to get some help, maybe I would have. I don't know. But I couldn't tell any of my friends I was struggling like that. So that just started taking a toll. And, I grew up a Christian, but I had no desire to follow a Christian life. I mean, I believed God was keeping me alive for a bigger purpose. So I kind of used that as an excuse to be a fool. And then one night I was hanging out in a bar in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and music, girls, it was just kind of what I did 7 or 8 nights a week. I mean, I drank and drove every night. I was your designated drunk driver. And this night I was hanging out in the bar, and all of a sudden the whole bar got dead silent. And I heard the words, "You're done." And the bar got completely loud again. And I was the only one that happened to that evening, and I drove home. But the next thing that I knew, walked up 12 flights of stairs, and I had a 350-pound barbell that I had put 350 pounds on the barbell, and I was picked the barbell up to just drop it across my chest. No plan, no thought. Now I call that like driven by the subconscious of just self-hatred and self-loathing and hating who I was. And But that night, I mean, what I feel happened is God stopped time, looked at my dog Jake, and said, "Go save your dad." Jake came over with his puppy dog head tilt, just like, "Dad, what are you doing?" With compassion and love, like the love of God was. I felt that in my heart through my dog, and I believe that was God just kind of showing Himself to me through Jake. And my compassionate heart opened up for my dog, and I was like, "Man, I can't do this. Who's going to feed you tomorrow morning?" And so it was just a peaceful night after God put that barbell back on the rack, poured out all my alcohol, woke up the next morning, reached out for help. My Aunt Carol took me to an AA meeting, and I found the rooms of recovery and people that were excited about life and they loved it. And I was all in early recovery. I did softball. I went and had coffee with people. I did the steps. I reached out to a sponsor. I did everything. I got back involved in Bible studies at church. Like I just became Mr. Recovery. And I'm not going to get into more of the chaos of my recovery. I just want to talk about the early days because it was so important to do what people told me to do because I did not know what I was doing. And and it was amazing and beautiful and doing a lot of cool stuff for the Lord. And then life just got really complicated later. It got complicated as I got married to my amazing wife Jen, and I had my amazing son Zeke. Had a great career as an insurance agent. It was, and my daughter was born, so there was all this good stuff. But see, I was dealing a lot with self-loathing again and not measuring up. And I started isolating, quit going to meetings, and just stopped doing the things that made me healthy. And then I eventually had a mental breakdown in recovery, which ended up, and I'm not going to get all those details because I mean, I have my stories out there everywhere. But the bottom line is that I lost sight of the important things and had a breakdown. And that sent me to prison for a while. And God is so good that as a 13-year prison sentence total with 2 charges, He got me out in 10 and a half months to a sober living house that I was in for 11 months and then started building my life again. I'm still in recovery, but see, I had a bad gambling addiction, which I didn't know how that affected me until I got into this industry. Right. And so now here I am out. My wife had to go through her own processes to stay with me or not stay with me. And thank goodness she chose to stay with me. And there's a lot of details in there, right? But the bottom line is I had good recovery. I lost sight of the things I needed to keep in my life to stay stable, had a breakdown, went to prison, got out of prison, and then started to kind of build my journey. And so now, as that was in 2015, I actually was able to move home. And then I began a career and got trained to become an interventionist and a recovery coach and started helping people and working with people. And so for the last 6 years, I've been investing in people's lives that want to change. Old college friends, high school friends, people call me from my past and my present, and people I meet, in a grocery store and talk to them, and they ask, "What do you do?" And I'll say, "Well, let me ask you this real quick before I answer that. Has anyone in your family ever dealt with addiction?" Oh yeah. I mean, addiction touches everybody. So now I'm an advocate. I've written a best-selling book, the Addiction Intervention book. If you ever want to grab a copy, just go to Amazon and look for this thing, the addictioninterventionbook.com, or I'm sorry, the Addiction Intervention book. And so now I just get to do awesome things to help people and watch people's lives change. I mean, one of my clients, amazing guy down in Texas named Robert. I mean, he went through. I did an intervention with his mom. Invited me to come in their life, do an intervention for their son. He went to a program in Texas I really liked. Went through their whole continuum of care. Got out, opened his own sober living houses. Started working for a treatment center. Now he's part owner of a treatment center. He just got married, and just his life is amazing. And so those are the cool things I get to be a part of now. And this whole swimforrecovery.com campaign is all about sharing people's stories. So I wanted to just take today, the September 9th, because that's September 9th. 9 is the month I was born. September 19th is my actual birthday. But just wanted to come on, and we've got some amazing testimonies, amazing stories coming up. I mean, we have Tim, Jerome, Amy, Nate, Norma, uh, Erska, and so many people with more stories coming this month. So please share this post with people, and just excited to kind of see where it goes from here for this month. So enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, enjoy your afternoon, and we will catch up with you soon. So God bless, and talk to you on the next episode. Oh, also go check out Addiction, Freedom, and Faith for all the new podcast episodes that are coming out and are already out. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.